Anyways.
Are we on? Okay. It's 1 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Father, Lord, we come to you once again, citizens, servants of the people of Grant County. Father, help us to do your will and the will of the people that would benefit Brown County the most. Father, clear our heads to make solid decisions. Lord, help our hearts be conscious, Lord, of the needs of others, and guide the words that we say, Lord, and the thoughts that we have, so everything we do makes sense and brings honor to you. It's good result for people listening. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen. Okay. We kind of got caught on the hot mic there talking about murals in the town of Hiawatha and Horton, so I apologize for the rough start here, but anyway, we'll get right after it. 1 o'clock. The first item on the agenda is county personnel or public comment. I don't see anybody here, but if you have something that you want us to hear and we're still in session, we will make time for you. So the first item on the agenda is the minutes from the 10th of November. Are there any additions, corrections, or comments to the minutes as presented here? You didn't see anything? All right, is there a motion to approve then?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carried. Payroll from the 12th. Any comments or questions on this? There's a lot going on.
Yeah, in case I'm missing it, but we talked about an overtime report to get added to that. And she did do that, is it?
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay, I just wasn't far enough down.
It's there.
Page,
Just keep going and you'll run into, it looks like page 43 is what I see.
okay.
Okay, so if we look at this overtime report, and we don't have to start here, Bill, did you have any other comments on stuff before? All right. Okay, so this overtime report, if you go to page 44,
Mhm.
on the very right-hand side. All right, so I'm just gonna lean on everyone else's opinion here. When you see overtime numbers, like in law enforcement, the way they are, does that say anything to you? Or not just law enforcement, those are the biggest.
So that's where I would expect the overtime to be,
Mhm.
right? Obviously, law enforcement is one of the organizations that they can't just simply say, hey, we're off the clock now, I've got to leave on this case. So I would expect to see it on law enforcement. Where I would be looking for is more along the lines of our normal business that we do. And then if there was a bunch of overtime, it would draw your attention, say, well, it's not normal that Road and Bridge have a ton of overtime.
Okay,
So then that would raise the question, what happened this week at Road and Bridge that they had a bunch of overtime? And that's kind of where I was going with this.
okay,
And then as far as law enforcement, like I say, you're gonna see that they typically, as I go through this, it's kind of normal for them to have it. And whenever I've questioned it, back when I was doing the sheriff's reserve program, that's pretty normal.
okay. Okay, so do we need to drill down deeper, like, if you don't see, Road and Bridge has 7,500. Doesn't seem like they had 1 month there, July.
Right.
That was one smoothie like that day.
In July,
Well,
What was in July? Well, there was a big bunch in
you're
February.
you're in January. Yeah, sorry, wrong day. Yeah, I see that. So we had a bunch of snow. That explains that. July is probably some sort of chip seal, you know.
yeah, and as you go through, when they're bringing on 12 guys, because they got a chip seal, that's the time they're gonna be doing the overtime. But this report that Nikki provided is exactly what I was talking about. It's succinct, it's easy to get through. You don't have to spend a bunch of time looking at it, and you're looking kind of on averages.
Okay,
If all of a sudden the custodians start putting in a lot of overtime, this would give us the opportunity to say, you know, what's happening in the building where we're having to work so much overtime.
is there
And that's-
is there any value? Is this a good baseline for us? Then we start here and work, continue on. Is there any value in going backwards? Or do you just on overtime?
I think going forward is what we do, and we compare it.
Okay.
We just keep comparing it and saying, what were we doing before? It also highlights sometimes when you don't have enough help in a certain department,
Okay,
you know, and then that's what I always base my decision on, is if we're gonna bring extra people on, have we been working overtime to get the work done?
okay,
Because that's not.
okay. So then I'll point this out specifically. So this one person here, if you look at an 80 and you got 63 out, you know, that's, I'm not sure the ratio, but he's usually quite a bit of overtime. And you start looking at a position like that, and, maybe we need to add somebody.
We start asking the question of why is it taking so much overtime to do a normal task?
Okay. Okay, so do we just
And
put
then,
that,
and you know, that's a good workshop. Also, when we're going through our workshop discussions,
okay,
this could be added to it.
so is that, just call it, you know, I gotta get a pen, I'm sorry, grab the bad one. Do we just put that down on the list as something to talk about in the future?
I think so. I think
Okay,
bring it up in the workshop.
okay. All right. Did you have any questions or comments on payroll? No? All right. Nikki, did anything stick out in your mind? Okay. Well, then, if there's no more questions or comments, is there a motion to approve?
We approve the payroll for 11/12/2025.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. All right. In process, we had two people walk in the room. I know one of them. So how can we help?
It's Janet Burns. She applied for Linda Remy's position
Oh, okay,
for services for the elderly.
okay. Okay,
And I met with her this morning and I just wanted to bring her in to introduce you and see if you guys had any questions.
if we do, can we go in executive session? Yeah.
I explained the position to her and what was doing. She had applied for it back when Linda was originally hired.
Good. Okay, you gentlemen have some questions, like to talk to her? It'll take 10 minutes, 15
Yes.
minutes, what do you think?
It's a good idea.
How much time? I'm looking for a signal. 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Okay, well, I move we go into executive session with the three commissioners, clerk, with services for the elderly director, and Janet Kearns, I'm sorry, for 10 minutes to discuss non-elected personnel and interview. Here we go. Is there, for 10 minutes, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Basically moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good, motion carried.
You're welcome.
All right, we're out of executive session. We're back into regular with no binding action taken.
I just wanted to pass along this nice email that I got from somebody that lives on 270th. The road that we redid.
And it's nice, as in.
Yes. Yes, it's nice.
Wait here.
I'm going back at 1:30,
Okay.
but what? We didn't change the speed limit on that, but is that the one we
That's
changed it?
45.
45 miles. Yeah.
Cause she brought up a point about continuing to monitor people's speed because she said they just fly by. And I know they do because my husband does so much that way. And he drives like a little old man and he says people pass him all the time.
That is an nice man. Okay, so you're coming back at 1:30. Okay, that's fine. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Tammy.
Okay, so I guess we can. What do we do there?
Well, do we need to make a decision today? I don't think so. I think she's gonna go
Take a look.
and take a look, and I think that's a decision could be made next week, correct?
Yeah, or, yeah, okay. Okay, all right, well, that's what we'll do.
And understanding that what the job is and all that, so.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Let's circle back to that though at the end of the meeting, just to
Sure.
make sure, because Tammy might come in and have a different idea. Okay, so we've got. Now, have you heard from Austin?
Yes.
Okay.
He's supposed to be calling into the meeting, what he said.
He's gonna call in Dallas? Does that,
Yeah, that's an option to have.
Okay, good.
7 minute, but
okay, I knew you would, I just thought I'd ask. So you're always ahead of it. Dallas got the batteries all changed too on the mic, so he's, I mean, really, this thing is a well-oiled machine now.
Can I ask a question about this also? So Nikki doesn't have a microphone. Well, people still need to hear from her, so are we? Is there only 3 or 4 on this system that, I mean, if you add another one, does it require extra equipment?
The box that we bought. is
Okay.
limited to 4 laptops.
Okay, so it is, and that's what we have. Well, I don't think it warrants purchasing in new equipment, but maybe if she's gonna be talking, then we can point it over towards her sometimes.
Yeah. I understand the reluctance. I wonder, Dallas, do we have enough reach with these microphones? Say if mine just went over there, would my voice pick up on the two beside me?
Project which you, I would say.
Okay, all right, well, we'll play around with that and see if we can.
Okay.
Work through it. Okay. Now, the next thing on the agenda is item number 3, the property use agreements. There was about a tuba Christmas and something else. Yeah, the first one was for the tuba Christmas on Saturday, December 13th. And the second, excuse me, I got those out of order. The first one actually would be Saturday, November 29th. Turning the Christmas lights on with Santa. They'd like to use the courthouse sidewalks and steps for the pictures and turning on the lights. And they request use of the inside of the courthouse if the weather is bad. So, like they're both from the Hiawatha Chamber and Visitors Bureau. The one on the 13th is for, I say it again, it's the Tube of Christmas. It's not Tube of Christmas. It sounds, anyway, sounds fun. Same thing, they want to have the chairs set up for performers as well as spectators, and the performers would come in at 10 o'clock to practice and so on and so forth. So, any questions or comments?
No, I think it's a good thing.
He decides. So on the line, the courthouse say we should be inside unless it's bad, so he decides. Bad, and when do they can buy?
Put them on there saying, you know, that they require something.
I think that'd be a very good idea with a contact number. So yeah, if they need someone here, give them a little time. Okay, well, I'd make a motion that we approve both requests for the Hiawatha Chamber Visitor Bureau to use the courthouse on the 13th there and the 29th of November. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so moving seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. And that'd be a good chance too, Nikki. Could you send that email to department heads, let them. Oh, I saw that they got a copy of this, but now that we've approved it for the 29th and for the 13th, would it make sense to let people know that something's actually gonna happen in those days? That'd be all right. Just a simple step so that no one's surprised, like, hey, why is the lights on in the courthouse? Uh-huh.
Apparently they have meetings and usually 4 times a month.
For extension?
They have been pay security or again, and they just give a things.
So it's after hours? It's always after hours? Okay.
So we instituted this $25.
Sure, I see that. So they would be paying $25 each time then, right?
Yeah,
That seems kind of excessive.
there's been an office in the courthouse too.
Yeah.
Did we make some sort of exemption for,
No, I haven't paid for that.
Does that make any sense?
no?
Well, with you, they're
Chamber.
overtime. You guess you can like the water, that, things like that.
But it's for the county.
So the intention of that was, I guess that's we tried.
I understand a lot of times
Okay.
intentions are awesome, but then when you review it and go, but that doesn't make sense here. The county elections office shouldn't be paying the county for the county building that they have an office in, correct?
Mhm.
You guys agree with that?
Right. We were trying to get, something like this.
No, I like what you've done here for outside people. But when it's an internal function,
Well, I'd say, make sure that since janitors work overtime anyway, for times.
They don't, they're.
so what we're saying is we're kind of redoing the janitor schedule at the same time. And the reason is janitors, a lot of the stuff that they need to be doing, it doesn't work well if you're in an office and they're vacuuming or they're cleaning floors. So they're agreeing, they're gonna come in, they're shifting their hours. So there will be going forward, there will be people after hours. And if this organization's wanting to come in during that time, it doesn't cost us more. We're already here. So I guess what we'd be saying is if it can be at a time when we don't have to bring somebody down here and pay them to turn lights on and make sure the building, then we could forego that charge. Don't you agree?
I think so. How do you put that in plain English on a form?
Well, I think that, first of all, we need to solidify what the hours are gonna be now going forward with the janitors. And once we understand that, then we could simply say that, if this event happens within the normal work hours of our custodians, then the charge could be waived.
And it does, outside normal business hours.
Yeah, so that's how we answer that.
But,
Workable?
so the election, you said it was on Saturday, right? So that was outside the working hours, so.
Maybe, they were talking about maybe working weekends also.
Okay,
He was comfortable, if you remember. Maybe turning one of his normal days to a Saturday, which gives him a lot of leeway inside the building to clean and not interrupt anybody.
So then our intentions were based on good motives here, I guess.
Mhm.
But then the results are a little cockeyed, so we are going to make some adjustments here as far as extension though with Matt. I mean, are we gonna try and?
So does Matt receive any budget where's his budget come from? From the
Yeah.
county, okay. So again, I personally, and you guys could give me your opinion, but if it's coming out of the county budget already, then it doesn't make sense for the county to charge the county in normal working hours. If it's outside normal working hours and there's a cost to us, then it makes sense. Is that convoluted or?
No, it's just I'm trying to figure out how to, I think we understand the gist of this. So
Mhm.
we'll change the form. If it's someone in-house, then we can make that go away. But if it's extra like this, then
Why,
that's
why
appropriate.
can't we have two forms? One for people that are not within the county and one for people within the county?
Right, there you go.
And that way it's,
I like it.
we just keep it simple like that.
Okay.
So I just trying to not have the dinner work overtime.
Correct.
Accommodate that.
Yeah, and if he was to move his normal work week, for instance, if he was no longer here on Monday, but he worked the Saturday, and when we talked to him, we wanted to work for him. But we also wanted to work for all the people in the building to where they can feel like they can clean and do stuff and not interrupt.
So we'll develop two agreements, one for everybody outside and everybody inside. So,
Perfect.
okay, sounds good. All right, and we got the two proper use agreements done and it's 1:30 and Shane's here and Tammy's here. You guys come on up. Appreciate you making this.
Oh, thanks for the time.
If Richard. Shane.
With this.
No.
So you think we need to
Okay, so I went to Walnut Township here 2 months ago and was trying to get, is this an open or closed road?
It was at the beginning of.
Part of the reason is I'm coming in and out here after I bought this farm and I feel guilty using the rock because Rick Dimmels paid for all the rock. So I wanted to see, okay, can we get some rock hauled because this is Walnut Township? Township told me this is a closed road. I come and talk to Tammy. Tammy says everything we have says it's an open road. There's no documentation that shows it's a closed road. There's a bridge right here that's been out. Well, the late Steve Locke never remembers this being a road.
Yeah.
So the 1940s, the bridge went out. So since then, it hasn't been maintained. And what I'm wanting to do is build a fence on the south line. Right now, this road has a 40-foot easement. So I have to build my road or build my fence 20 foot off the center line.
Mhm.
I've got pictures to show you of what this looks like now.
So
So
what the farm on the north side or the south side?
I own the farm on the north side. So what I would like to propose is to close this road from what do you
we
want it?
decided 7.
700 feet from the intersection to the creek to close the road.
Because the,
Before where the bridge is already out.
yeah, right.
And there's two houses here.
Is
And
it-
I don't want to close the road in front of their houses. There's a house and they live there
There.
full time. Yeah, so
So this one, I had put it up here, but he would actually like to move it closer to 700 feet.
here's the
out.
road
Closer to the bridge.
Yes,
and that's that's the property line. And so my property line is right on the right hand line of this road. Well, I'd like to build my fence there, but county laws, I have to be 20 foot off. But I mean, we get down there, could you tell me where 20 foot off is?
Well, I'm curious as where the river drives and do they usually get back to the field and so on.
I'm the guy driving on
You're
that
the
to
guy.
get, yeah.
To get through.
And so leaving it to 700 feet would give their tenant enough room to get in here and access this. And
Is
it
there,
also gives
is
me
there a tube or anything that he has to go across to get into that field?
into his field, no, I will have to put a tube in at my own expense. And would be willing to do that.
So if we were to close off the road, does it affect the farmer on the other side of the road at all?
No, because they're not able to farm any of this road currently. And I've got an excavator there right now that's clearing my side of the property line going down to the creek. But I just would like to be able to build my fence on the property line unless you guys could come tell me where 20 foot off the road is when we get down in here.
Well, they could survey it if wanted, but so,
No,
why? Okay, now help me out here on a different problem. I got Jesse two records. So this is your farm.
yep,
Who's this?
Rick and Kay Dimmel,
Okay, and this is their road to get to their shop, maybe there?
yep, to their shop,
Driveway.
And it's gravel to their driveway?
yep,
Okay, and
that's,
who's
that's,
this?
that's, Jim and Oxon living good,
Living, okay.
So they live there
And there's a house.
they do,
and that,
they live there full time,
they own. Do they own the property?
they own this 160 acres.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Now, so you're proposing, well, I've seen two pin lines. There.
we'll ignore this
I'm
one.
ignoring that one. We move to this one.
Yeah,
So why start there versus maybe say that property?
We could, that's fine. I just didn't know what this measurement is today.
Okay.
I know the survey from the center pin of the section to this line is 615 feet.
Okay, so if if you vacated the road from here west. Here west. So their farm, the Living Gate farm, of course, it would move to the center of the road. Your farm would move south to the center of the road. And you built your fence and right on the line or just in front of the.
Okay. The road was not built on the section line. The road is on her property, on Living Gate's property.
Okay.
So I would keep my fence on the surveyed property line that I just paid a survey, unless you're telling me I can gain 10 feet.
Our attorney just got on where he could probably tell it. Okay.
So.
I'm not worried
and
about
I-
gaining that 10.
I know I've already asked this question. So when this farmer enters this field, you know, there's obviously always at least one tube that they can enter. Where do they enter that field from?
They enter it from up here,
Okay,
also right here, right after the house, and then on the highway entrance on 36.
so they still have three places to enter that would not be affected by that road.
Correct.
Okay,
And there's plenty of space here.
right. And I'm, yeah, you know, sometimes there's a
Absolutely.
deep ditch that you can't get across. Sometimes it's flat.
Now it's level there.
It's level.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Austin, you hear
Yes,
us?
sir.
Welcome.
Yes, I can. Thank
Okay,
you.
We are
I
on.
had some-
We've got.
I had
Shane.
some,
There's
I'm sorry, gentlemen, I had some trouble logging in. I may need to call in later because I think I'm gonna lose data. So if Dallas, I sent an email, but it probably got to you in the middle of the meeting. If you have a call-in number for Zoom, I may have to call in if I lose video, but if you could email that to me, that'd be great.
Okay.
He's
Other than
gonna
that,
right now.
perfect. Okay. But you know, I'm happy about that. So we have the issue regarding the road and potential vacation of it. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. What was up? I'm sorry, Commissioner. You were saying something, Commissioner Heinen?
So Austin was just asking you what you were asking him.
Okay, so we're looking at the possibility of vacating a road. The road hasn't been in service for, say, 50+ years. There's limited evidence that it was a road after about, what'd you say, 700 feet from the intersection, something like that? Okay, and so property owner here would like to build a fence. And if there's no road, he could, if we would vacate it, that would change where he puts his fence, correct?
Legally, I would have to figure out where the center of the road was and be 20 foot off. So right now, I just would like to stay on the property line.
Okay, we have multiple property owners involved. How do we do this correctly? As far as the road vacating process and notification of all affected people?
That's a great question. It's a state statutory process on how we go about road vacation. We can run through a little bit of it. I think that the question though is, so basically what happens is if we vacate the road, everybody gets to the middle right of way and they take it in the middle. Okay. The Board of County Commissioners can do it. There can also be a petition from them to do it. But we look at it, we determine whether there's stuff in that road right of way that we need to keep, and then we have an easement that goes through that. But I can go over a little bit of the state statute. I don't have it up in front of me right now, but I can pull it up. But there's a process. It takes about 60 days from when we were to start, okay, to really get through it. And I can, while we're sitting here chatting, I'll pull it up real quick so that way we can talk about it more directly. Okay.
Austin, one of the things to keep in mind also is where the road used to be, apparently, there was a bridge that crossed the creek. That bridge has not existed for
Almost 100 years.
a long time. So
Yep.
the road would have had a bridge at one point, but it's hasn't been crossable for many, many years. So that's just another thing if you're trying to get a picture of what he's talking about.
No, thank you. That's helpful. And part of that is it all plays in a little bit to the methodology of it because we're looking at it and basically saying, I'll get to it in just a minute.
There's no utilities. I mean, as far as big safe, nobody.
That was gonna be my next question is there any
There-
kind of power lines there, any kind of gas lines that we know of?
There's an old abandoned phone line would be the only thing.
So have you done a dig safe to see
did.
it? Okay,
Yeah,
so you called dig safe and no utilities responded.
on that line, no,
Okay. That's good.
yeah.
And even on the county map, it shows that that's just a section. So it doesn't show it as a dirt road,
Right.
doesn't show it as any kind of road.
I don't, Austin, did you hear that as well?
Uh-huh, yep. So you could say, so you can have a, hold on here. So it's section 68-102. Okay. This landowner as an adjacent landowner can put a petition in to vacate the road. Okay. The county commissioners, whenever the board determines that it's not a public utility by reason of neglect, non-use, or inconvenience, the road's practically impassable, or that there's not utility for the road to repair it, notice shall be given. All right, and then what we do is the next statute, so that's 68-102, and then 102A says you publish it in the county newspaper with notice. Okay. Then I don't think there's any damages for going on ahead and getting rid of this road. This is a non-usable road, so I'm not really worried about that. Okay. You put a notice of the description of the road to be vacated. Okay. Proceedings for the award of damages to property owners affected by the vacation and any appeal shall be made under, and that's a separate statute. We don't have to get into that. I don't see that happening here.
So Austin, we want to keep part of this road, approximately 750 feet of this road. And then
Okay.
vacate that point on west. Does that cause any extra trouble?
No, you can keep half of it and vacate the other half as access. I don't think it causes a lot of trouble.
And then the
Okay.
road, does it get surveyed to identify,
There's
the middle point of the road?
Yeah, so there's so the county commissioners at any regular meeting shall, if they find the petition for the vacation to be legal, they have to appoint 3 disinterested householders to view it, who may act as viewers of the road. The clerk gives notice. Okay. And then, so there's a notice there, and then they cause the notice to be entered on the record. Okay. What they do is, they look at the road. They determine how it's to be done or vacated or not vacated. So you have 3 people that are like disinterested householders in the county. Okay. They can,
Probably not, since we're commissioners, it'd probably be, like you said, disinterested people.
yep, it'd probably be disinterested people that would do this.
Not that we're not
Okay.
interested, just,
And it's a different procedure for like counties versus cities. That's why I'm looking at it. Cities do this differently. You do it by an ordinance. It's totally different.
Okay.
And so they, so then, and there's not a surveyor, the county doesn't have a surveyor, so someone will come and, proceed a survey. They'll view, they'll lay out.
He's had it
Okay.
surveyed for his property line, Austin.
Okay,
He's had that
that's
done.
good. So we'll use that.
you know, if we have a known survey already, then there's
Mhm.
benchmarks and everything out there that we could pull off of.
Yeah, no worries.
We
So we've got that.
I think if I was saying anything, obviously we want to work with you here. We're just making sure that, because you understand what happens.
Absolutely.
This makes sense. We all talk about it, we do something, and then the next thing you know, there's 4 or 5 people in going, hey, I want to do the same thing. So we want to make sure that we establish the right way going forward,
Absolutely.
right?
And
Yeah.
If it was a
That's-
one-off, it never happened again, that's different, but chances are somebody else is gonna say, well, you guys did this for him, and so we just gotta make sure we're doing it the right way.
Does it matter, Austin, that the road was not built on the center section line and that the road is actually south of the property line?
Sort of, yes and no. There's so much problems with these roads in areas. They're frequently off. Okay, and so you have like a prescriptive road. I mean, the reality is that that's part of the board's determination and finding. The statute's long, it's weird, it's 100 years old. Okay, but the reality is that we do this, we just have to follow the right procedure. But what Commissioner Richards talking about is we have one of these problems going on right out now over in Nemaha where we've got a road that wasn't supposed to be like a contentious issue but it's between two brothers that absolutely hate each other. And we can't agree on how easements and roads and those types of things come out and what happens with the bridge afterwards. And so it becomes this thing. So we want to do it right. And there's some cost that's wrapped up in it. So we want to make sure that the cost is allocated in the right way. I mean, there's not a maintenance responsibility there right now. So what we'd like to do is make sure that, I don't want to speak on behalf of the commission, but what I would suggest is we make sure that the cost is neutral, that we figure out how we look at it in the right way to get you vacated out and make sure that everybody's taken care of. So there's a process. It's a little wonky, but we can run down it and I can come back with a better, more complete answer for next week or whenever we talk about this next. Maybe it's right after the holiday, since next week is Thanksgiving. We could do this the first week of December. And I'll be there physically the first week of December. So
For original works, but there are some new houses out there, so if we vacated it, is it possible to reopen it later if the landowners change their mind and want to build houses on there? I mean,
you could repetition it. You could temporarily close the bridge, right? But if you vacate it, then you lose that right of way. So they would have to come through and reopen it later. With a new right of way easement, and everybody'd have to give it up. So once you close it, it's kind of like marriage. You speak now, forever hold your peace if you're going to vacate it. But you could close the road or make it a minimum access road, minimum maintenance road, and just sort of leave it at that. The one thing I'm not sure of is that the property owner doesn't want to go all the way out into the road right of way with the fence, wants to leave it at 20 feet. So I'm not sure exactly.
I could, if you want to pay to tell me where I need to put the fence in the center of the road. But I've
Well,
already
that's what
paid
I'm.
for the survey.
That's why I'm suggesting, I'm not sure, we do want to look at this, but with that already being done, and if you're gonna put the fence on those posts, vacating the road's not gonna necessarily add any additional land to you, because you're gonna put a fence up and then it's just gonna sit there. So I'm not sure, there's some process here, I don't know how you want to deal with it. Do you see what I mean? Like the road's there, you're not gonna fence it in, so I'm not sure what you get out of it, but we can chat about that and I could try to better understand it.
I get out of it 10 feet because I'm able to build my fence on the property line and not have to set back the 20-foot road easement. And then once we get down in the trees, nobody's gonna be able to tell me where the road used to be. So at that point,
Oh,
I want to legally put my fence where it should be and not have to come back and move it 20 feet.
I understand what you're saying, you don't want to lose 20 feet.
Yeah,
Because right now you're afraid that the road goes in 20 feet. The road physically goes in an extra 10 feet south, and that's why you're coming to us, because right
yeah,
now, if you put
there's
the
a
fence
40-foot easement on that road. And so 20 foot either way of the center line.
Am I
Okay,
correct in saying the county maps do not show it as a road? So as of right now?
Yeah.
Okay,
But the documents show it as a road.
sure.
So help me out.
there may be a way around this, I'm not sure yet.
When you survey, are the pins in the center of the road, or they're 20 feet north of the
They're
road?
right on the
edge of the road.
edge of the road. There's things. But if I go off the 20-foot center line, I'm gonna be 10 foot to the right of my stake. And then once we get down there. to the
Do those
trees-
survey marks have an offset on them?
They do not.
They
That's
drove
right
a
on-
pin and they're
That's on
driven,
the pin.
it doesn't say 4 feet off center or anything like that?
I do not know that for sure.
Do you think that the mistake I go by?
There's the physical survey. I don't know if you want to look at that.
Is your road, yeah, there's his name. Student.
240th amazing.
Yeah, this torn out. Yeah. That's what you're talking about. So that's a red line. Red line means no road.
Yeah, it just means section one.
Yeah. So. Okay,
Her folders in there don't say
right.
road closed.
again, I mean, if you had never had it surveyed, obviously the cost would be a little higher, but somebody's already surveyed, that survey could tell off of his stakes where center line is for us if we had to do that. Meaning it's gonna be a simple calculation. He's not gonna have to go back out there and shoot anything, correct? Because he's already put his points in. He had to pull them off of a benchmark. He had to pull them off center line. He had to pull them off of something. So he's already established that with your,
Correct.
whether they are 13 feet from center line or 10 feet from center line or 5 feet from center line. If we reversed it and went back and went to him and said, okay, now tell us where center line is, he could do that really fairly easily.
In a format that he could build a fence on though.
I don't know why not. I mean, that's how most construction sites are built. Just
I want to say it's already on center line.
you go to a no
Survey.
survey mark and they reverse.
I want to say,
I'll tell you
I'll
where to
call
go.
when we get out of here and all
You're
that.
saying you're.
Yeah.
in-
I'm almost positive there's center line right now.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but since the road was not on the center line in the past, do we go by the center line of where the road was or the center line of the section?
I think that's a
Center line of
survey.
yeah, it is.
I don't want to make. it big.
want to open that can of
Yeah, I
worms.
don't
just
make-
wanna build it on the property line and move on.
Wants to build a friend, that's all.
And have teas.
And I think.
But we're not saying, if it was on the center of the road, you'd already be off. 10 feet or.
But I think what Austin said clearly was let him look into this a little bit more, and when he comes back, we'll have a little bit more information. I think we want to work with him, right? We're not saying no.
Absolutely.
We just want to make sure that we do it the right way. At the cheapest cost to the county, right?
Yep.
And that way,
Yep.
the next person that walks through and wants to do something similar, we say, well, we've already kind of established because we followed the rules. And this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Absolutely.
But you're not getting resistance from us, is what I'm trying to say.
Don't feel like it.
Okay.
No,
Right?
this is gonna be a
Is
long
that what you
process.
feel?
Is that outside, I guess? I'm sorry, I didn't, noise kind of got them. Yeah, you're not getting resistance from me. We better figure it out with the attorney. There's, and if your survey pins are on the center line of the road, then
They're on the center line of the section.
center line of the section.
Yeah.
Said it wrong, you know, and we have to determine, I assume that's a line to use, but I'm not sure.
I'm not here to ask for half the road that's not there. So,
Yeah, that's fine.
So are you in a time crunch?
no, I figured by the time this all gets settled, I'll build this when the snow's thawed.
Okay.
On that
So you're
half.
looking in the spring, then
Yeah.
the building.
Yep. On that, the rest of it, I'm gonna build this fall,
do it
but
already.
this part
Okay.
I know I need to wait.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess the number one thing you're learning is that we're not opposed to it, so we'll work.
You let me know if I need to come back.
You'll probably have to.
Okay.
And we'll work with him and get the process started.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Maybe anyone.
So Joey called there and they've been working on that. OS2 bridge.
Yeah.
They just had a bunch of stuff that dug out for you and then just filled that back in. And he thought the road didn't have to open up again.
Hmm.
But he thought it was good. That's good for him.
Okay.
This information, I just talked to him at noon, so I can come up just look at it.
Is there anything you think we need to know? You want us to be aware of?
No,
I saw the new deer crossing signs on Sagebrush there.
did you?
So that's up. Good.
Good.
Yep, and they were accurate too, because as soon as I saw them, the deer crossed in front of me. It's that time of year.
It is that time of year.
Any armadillo reports for us, or where are they at now?
They're not, they're in my office.
Okay,
That's one thing I was gonna ask. Do you guys have any roads that you want us to put them on?
Can you bring me up to date? Because,
so an armadillo, these two traffic cameras that people.
okay, that makes sense.
Yep. So, have we run them on Prairie Road, north on Route 36, on that section? That's kind of a road that gets mentioned a lot.
I think we did,
Okay, we did.
yes. Because we were wanting to see how much traffic was on it. going to the casinos. I think that was one of the first roads.
Okay. Give me, I don't, are you hearing any roads, any issues on speeding or?
Have we ever done them on Kestrel?
We just got them back.
Okay. So those reports are in your office then?
That might have been before you.
Possibly. Okay, so the thinking is behind, and it's not just randomly to position them throughout the county. So she first put them up on 270 and they've been up there on that new stretch of road. So it was very useful to help us, to see how much traffic, when the traffic's there and how fast they're going.
Right.
We learned, quite a bit, a lot of early morning traffic there, and they're really not going, they're not super late. It's just one person or two with the partner trying to make up time. And then, so then we moved them around. We're trying to figure out basically what stretches of our county roads get the most use. A lot of these blacktops, they're all interconnected. State highways or other kind of blacktops. And I'm out of strategic places to put them.
Did we ever put them out on Goldfinch? Yeah, I don't think we did.
I don't remember seeing.
That might be a place to,
Off the highway, going north off 36.
yeah.
Going
further-
south or north off the
No,
north, okay.
yeah, no. Right?
North,
Yeah, that's west. Okay.
I'll make it easy. Heading towards Nebraska? Just making sure.
Turned around in the.
That's
middle.
fine, that's fine.
I am directionally
2 by
dysfunctional.
9.
So you're talking about from on Goldfinch north of 36?
Is if you were heading up to Grimm's Gardens, for instance, off of 36. Or if you're heading towards Powhatan, that's basically what he's saying.
Yes, no.
So if you put one between 36 and 270th, and there's one past there. You might,
So
that's
going
a main road.
between
He's
two-
going to Morrow and he's going north.
Powhatan.
Going north. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, see how many people that go north and then turn off on 270th instead of going on the whole city or on north,
Right.
and then turn more. You can go to more either way, but on 270th or 290th, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I understand what you're doing. You're trying to collect data to see if they're turning off or continuing.
So the Goldfinch Road is a name you'll hear
Mhm.
in the future about wanting to widen that thing. Part of that's because it's a lot of truck traffic, a lot of farm traffic. And, we can see, just see, who turns and heads west there. And who takes it and goes straight north.
So between 36. And what?
So I think we want to move it. So I'll tell you what, I'll get with you
Okay,
and I'll show you where he's talking about and that way we can. Yep. But we all agree we'll move them there next, correct?
I like
Okay.
I'm taking my picture and going home.
All right, we'll read that.
Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome.
All right, now. Okay, we're on item number 4 here. Austin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so while we've got some time here, do you have a county councilor update for us?
So yeah, so I was able to get some stuff done. I got the sheets, easement done this week. We've got Jeff Ham's contract. I saw that came in signed. I'm working on a bankruptcy notice matter that's due in January, so I think we've got that squared away for now. I've got, I had a meeting. This is a strategic meeting, and I was able to, I didn't get a chance to finish the conversation with, Commissioner, Richard. But I had a strategic meeting because I know we're dealing with some, roads questions. And in addition to what we're doing, like what's a way to be a little bit more strategic about our long-term road maintenance? And I had a meeting with Jeff Ham over at Ham Construction, okay? And I said, is there a way that we could have a different strategy instead of just rocking roads? Because I know we're not going to do a bunch of rocking roads next year, but what's a way that we could get away long-term from rocking roads and also get away from, you know, dust on rural roads? Is there a way that we can solidify the base and then potentially position us to long-term, 5-7 years from now, maybe even put an asphalt cap over some of our heavy roads, like a 3-inch asphalt cap? He said, yes, there is. And part of the strategy, he's tried it out over the last 20-25 years. They did it on some of their quarry roads in different areas. But basically what there is, he said that there's a strategy that we could potentially use, maybe between $6, roughly $6 a ton for a different type of slurry mix. It gets sprayed, and you spray it once the first year, once the second year, and then you skip a year, the third year, and then you skip a couple of years. So you're at 6 or 7, and then after about 7 years, the base is solidified enough. As long as you have a good hard base, when you start spraying it, the base is solidified enough you could put a asphalt cap over it. And I said, really? He said, yeah. And I know that the asphalt cap works because I've done it, and we've been going on it for 20 years, and we've never had any issues with it.
Austin,
I also said, yep.
I'm sorry, it's awkward just to interrupt, but okay, so if I understand,
No, you're fine.
the county we've got 280, I think that's the right number, 270.
207.
All our roads are chip sealed already. So you're talking asphalt cap. We would have a pretty well established base. So there's a possibility of running an asphalt cap right over the top of our chip seal roads?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, if I could interrupt also, what Austin is doing is what we've talked about a little bit earlier, even before us commission, is looking at alternative
Mhm.
methods. Just because we've done it
Right.
one way, we need to be looking and saying, are there other solutions? And like what he was talking about is going in before you would do that and applying different types of oil, different types of material on what we have already to basically secure what we have.
so where I got confused was the rock thing. You were talking about chip seal. When I hear rock, I think of a gravel road. But
Yes.
you were talking about chip.
He's talking about chip sealed roads.
My apology.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's what I'm talking. And even with the chip seal, you've got a good base on it. I was talking about how do you solidify even if you don't have a chip seal, and you've got a good solid base underneath it.
Okay.
But what you're probably doing is, instead of chip sealing, okay, what you're doing, there's a product out here, and it's $6 a ton. Okay, that if we did the right slurry, we could use it, and it keeps the dust down. We may be able to just pave right over some of the chip seal roads. Okay. But what it does is the right type of slurry, it gets rid of the dust, okay, particularly if there was any dust, which you don't have on chip seals. All right, but it stabilizes that, okay, for another year. And what we may do is it's a far less expensive option, okay, than chipping and sealing all your roads. All right, so what you may be able to do is we look at each road and we figure out, hey, do we need to do anything right now to build up the base, or do we apply and solidify the base with this slurry? Okay, because the chip seal may have solidified it enough, or we may have to get the slurry in so that it gets a little more solid deeper. Okay, and then once that's over with, once we look at the roads and say, hey, this base is set up solid, then we put a cap over it. And part of the reason why I'm saying that there's a cap there that makes some sense, if you look at what we spend money on, right, in terms of what, when you're dealing with the cap of it, with a solid base and a cap over the top, you could potentially very well get in front of most, if not all, of your long-term road and bridge maintenance. Okay, and I'm saying that because I'm not saying that we won't ever have to do certain things within road and bridge. Don't get me wrong. It's a constant question of maintenance. But with a good solid base on some of these low to mid traffic roads, you may not have to touch them for 20, 25 years. they haven't touched one of their asphalt roads for 20 years. And then
Austin,
really
is
what
there
we're
a way
talking
we
about.
could- Is there a way that, we could go view some of these areas that they've had success with?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, there's a way. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to do a quick calculation here. Okay. I have to do if I have a minute here, I can do a calculation on about how many tons of asphalt we need per mile, okay, of road. But the reality is I did this for Nemaha County, okay? And we need to look at some of these roads to see, but there's a way to do the project cost and potentially even finance portion of it in like some blocks. But when you look at the numbers, right, with the finance cost versus what we're spending on commodities to do things every year, it turns out it's kind of like health insurance. You spend the money, it becomes like a revenue neutral line item as you do it in phases. And then to maintain the roads, it's far less expensive long term. So it's a way that you decrease your budget. So there's definitely a way we could go look at Jeff Ham's got a couple of roads in that we could look at. He can show us what it looks like 20 years in. And so, yeah, we could set that up. But I haven't before this call ran the exact number, okay, in terms of what it looks like. But in the end, when I was looking at it before at Nemaha, after you have a solid base and you run the asphalt, you may be able to asphalt all those roads, and then all you're really doing is slurry sealing the asphalt roads to re-moisturize the base on like a 3 to 5 year schedule. So you're spending less money long term in road maintenance with no chip seal necessary, no rock. It becomes something that's a far better base long term for the county. So yeah, I would suggest we could definitely take a look at that. That's one thing I've been looking at proactively. But if you tackle that and you tackle health insurance and you get on a schedule to bring that down, those are the two main things you can deal with in terms of budget. And
So
we
right
could definitely
now,
go look at-
Austin, right now, am I correct in saying on average, we spend about $2 million a year just between rock and oil? Is that correct? Because that $2 million doesn't
Yeah.
have, that doesn't include labor, rolling stock numbers, anything like that. That's
that's why I'm
strictly
suggesting.
material.
I was suggesting that I think that you can and will do better than that with this solution, and I think you can do it. You can I'm trying to run this right now. If you give me a minute here, I'm looking at this. Hold on here. I am 3 inches. All right, 0.25 feet. All right. So for hot mix asphalt, this is where we're at. Let's say most of our county roads are about 20 feet wide, right?
Or
Isn't that right, guys? 24 or 20?
We hope for 24.
All right. Well, we'll use 24 as a good average. All right.
so the new ones,
That's what the
Okay.
new.
Here we go.
Looks like.
would make anything less than that.
Yeah, that's pretty.
All right. So I'm working on this. I'll give you almost what I think could be about an exact figure per mile here. If you just give me a minute. Okay. So I would suggest.
No, I'm just looking here for, I'm not seeing the rock section of the budget for some reason. I see the oil very plain as day.
16,000 tons.
Yeah. Oh.
It would have been, it would have been,
It's Hams, 380. Yeah.
but it was purchased from different people too.
Yeah,
So-
you're right.
That's-
I didn't see it. Oh, you didn't see it raw.
So on that road we just did, we took off, only did 2 inches instead of 3 inches, and I think it seemed like it was $270,000 or something to save us, to call. So that comes out, that's for 3 inch layer, that was just 1 inch, for 3 inches. It was big.
Yep, you're about there, but if you take so you have 200, how many miles of roads?
270.
270, all right?
That was three,
So with the base,
3.5 feet, 3.5 miles.
okay,
And this
so,
one, so
all right, what you have to try to get into though is the cost, okay? If you think, I would suggest that you're probably gonna need 2,000 to 2,500 tons of hot mix asphalt to do what we wanna do, okay? And so if you look at that, and then you look at, you can't buy, we have to figure out how to do a better job on hot mix asphalt than $90. You can't do it $90 a ton. It's just not gonna work. Okay, but if you get into that, and I'm not trying to throw numbers out that are scary because we gotta go through and make sure that we do this in the right way. Okay? Hold on here. You've got, all right, I have to, hold on here. I need to finish running some math here. Just give me a minute. I think if I built all this up, so I need to.
The other thing also, Austin, is we have roads in the county, for instance, Prairie Road, north of Old 36, where you have a lot of problems out there with the base. You have a lot of problems with, basically the water table. So the things that we can do on that road are completely different than some of our others. So it'll never be one application for every road. We're gonna have to address the roads that we have that already have severe base problems. Prairie Road is a great example. I mean, that's gonna be something that we have to address. We have to come up with a different way, because chip sealing Prairie Road, just to continue to do that doesn't solve any problems. And that gets a lot of.
Yeah, so I don't think you're gonna get to the, I don't think that we're gonna end up with, hold on here. If we're at, we have to figure out how to get to, for the roads, this is, if we end up,
The pressure to do all this stuff, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I mean, if you summarize this and said you've been in discussion with people that have some different ideas for us about our roads and different ideas as far as chip sealing, asphalt, something with a slurry. I mean, you've got some new ideas and concepts. I mean, you don't have to give us the hard numbers now. Just,
Yeah.
You're late doing some groundwork here, some new ideas here, something for us to look at in the future. And when you have a little time to do the math, then just bring it to us, next week or the week following.
but I was able to do some quick math here. So let's
Okay.
say, all right, so I did some quick math, and we're gonna have to triage roads. All right, we have to figure out how to get hot mix, but really and truly, you've got rock that gets mixed with, and this is if you're doing 3-inch overlay, which is great. We may end up with 2, right, on some of it. But if you can figure out how to rob Peter to pay Paul, and this sounds like a large number, so I've put as many caveats as I can on it, okay? But if you can figure out how to get a road project from between $20 to $25 million, okay? And what you do is you issue bonds, okay, that are payable over 20 to 25 years. Okay, and you do it in phases, and what happens is that your bond payment at that point for asphalt roads is about $1.6 million.
Yeah.
All right, which if you do it in the right way, right, then you have saved, right, and then all you're doing is slurrying, right, which is a lower, then you probably are saving $200,000 or $300,000 a year. Right?
Austin, I think it's
And
more
you've
than
got-
that because at our current budget, it's more than that. And you know as well as I do, those prices are gonna escalate, but also what we're saving is the labor. Because ongoing, every year, we're not gonna be bringing in 12 guys to do chip and seal every year.
You're going, yeah, and I'm being sensitive to that, Commissioner, because I'm trying not to say too much at once, but yeah, you are saving, because you have a budget of 2.7, 2.8, maybe 3 million, right? Doing this, even if you come in closer to a $2 million payment versus a 1.7, you're going to end up, you don't have any ongoing maintenance.
Right.
All you're doing is
Very,
you're
very
now
minimal.
doing sections.
Okay,
Very
and so-
minimal. I mean, you have ongoing maintenance, but then all you're doing is you're on a schedule with slurry seal, and you put yourself on a schedule, and then every once in a while you have to do some mill and overlay work. But on those low minimum maintenance roads, you're not touching them much.
Right.
okay, so that answers
So
my
there-
question. When you said it was that scale and scope of a project, then now it makes sense. Okay,
Yes.
well, that is a different way of thinking about stuff. So Brown County, when I look at our books, one of our shining stars was we didn't have debt. This would
Mhm.
be going a different direction.
It,
Okay.
it would be going,
Yes,
in a
and it's
different, but it would be saving you money every year.
I'm not arguing, I just, you know.
Sure.
That's a big number.
yeah, it's a big number, but the reality is that when you're looking at what you have to do is you have to do a cost benefit analysis on the roads.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think that what you want to do is, when we're thinking about it, okay, you don't have to do it necessarily for every road, but right now, we're already in personnel issues trying to find people to do maintenance. All right? If you have a situation where you can have all of your roads in a better condition with limited long-term maintenance, and you're doing it at a cost rate that is at or better than where you're at today, okay, then it's kind of like, I'm sound like a finance guy for a moment, but it's like you look at the time and value of what you've invested in, okay? You have to look at it like buying a combine, which I don't necessarily, I mean, it's not
Don't
the
buy it.
easiest thing to do. What's that?
I said, don't buy a combine if
Yeah.
you're.
I know,
But
they're too
Austin,
expensive.
also, I mean, I love what you're saying, and we've been talking about this, but we're also hedging our budget to protect us, because if we're spending $2 million in 2026, let's say if we were doing it
Right.
just on oil and rock, and we've got to think about what are we going to be spending in 2030,
More.
right?
That's right.
And so
That's the
anything
other
that
reason
we
that
can
we're
do to back up, give us a better road system that lasts a lot longer, that can be paid for over a long amount of time and reduce our yearly cost. That's what we're gonna have to do, because the roads that we have right now, we have to do something different. We can't just keep chip sealing every year. We can't do that. It's
right.
exacerbating the problems that are out there. So.
And if you don't do something like this, then all you're doing is, your chip seal doesn't fix your base and your foundational problem.
not
You
at
gotta
all.
have a cap over it. Yeah, you gotta have a cap over it. All chip seal does is reduce dust. So, I mean, it doesn't,
Chip seal works if the road surface is in great condition and you chip seal a good road, it lasts a lot longer. But when we chip seal
right.
over problems, we're spending money on something that does not last. It's like painting your house without putting primer on first. It looks great for a year, but then 2 years down the road, it doesn't look good. And unfortunately, we've been
Well,
doing it with our roads for quite a while. We've been putting
yeah,
Band-Aids
but
on.
you're
the road.
absolutely right. And, but if you think about it, you're right, because you're using the right, and I guess I should say it does a little bit more than just keep dust down. But if you think about it, it doesn't take care of the underlying base. The
No.
problem is that you've got this thin layer over the top, like a veneer. And if you've got rot underneath, like I painted my parents' house years ago, that rock came right through, that paint flaked right off. And so if you don't, what's solidifying the base with a different type of product, like let's say we sat down and said, look, on this other slurry seal type product, the chip and seal sets on top of the base. That's one of the issues. You need a slurry seal type product that will seep into the base to solidify the rock. So you prepare the road in a better way. Okay, make sure that those areas are fixed with some. We rock them in right up front. Then you put this slurry seal base. If we have good areas, we don't have to touch them right now because you've got the slurry seal there. Then all we're doing is making sure that that it's properly crowned and it's properly stabilized. Then you have the slurry seal that solidifies the base. Not the you don't have to chip and seal that, and that's like I was saying, that's $6 a ton, right? Doing that may be for, and we haven't done. We need to talk to Jeff Ham over at Ham Construction. That may be half of our roads. And in that, I asked, are you grading those roads? He said, no, you're not grading those roads. You're not doing anything with those roads. Okay, you're at scale every 3 to 4 years. You're maybe putting another slurry down. And he said, on some of those roads, some of them are asphalted that he has, some of them aren't. On the quarry roads, some of them, they drive those big heavy trucks up and down the roads, not the asphalt ones even, but just the ones with the slurry. He said, we haven't had any problems and we only do it once every 3 or 4 years, but down at scale. So you may have a mix. You may say, look, I'm going to put asphalt on these heavy roads, and then on these light to medium roads, I put this slurry down, and you're in a maintenance sequence where you don't have a lot of equipment because you're not grading, and I know you're not grading right now, but you don't have a lot of equipment. You don't have a lot of rolling stock, and your personnel is very minimal because all you're doing is once a year putting down a slurry very quickly. And so if you're doing that in certain areas, so I mean,
And
again, you're saving money.
In a county like ours, you can look at, I mean, we have certain roads in this county that get heavy truck traffic on them. And so if
That's
you
right,
just
yep.
isolated those roads, Prairie Road, I'll bring that up again, right? The Baker Road,
Mhm.
I call it the Baker Road. There's certain roads that even if we focused on those roads and we made them our heavy truck traffic and we attack just those out of the 270, then it becomes even more affordable.
That's right. That's right. And it becomes a sustainable plan. Like the thing is, because Commissioner Richards right. Like, look, the problem is I'm not a huge debt person. Okay, I'm not. I don't believe in that as a way to get yourself to sustainability. But what you're doing though is you have to look at a project like this. If you're financing, the only way that you can do a large project sometimes is you have to finance the infrastructure costs that go into it, right? So I categorize debt as good debt versus bad debt. Okay, bad debt is I'm financing doing a lot of what we do in the U.S. government right now, which is I'm financing my operational costs. If you're financing your operational costs with debt, that's a problem, right? But if what you're doing is
right?
That's right.
At that point, it becomes a subsidy, not a finance.
That's right. But if you're financing operational improvement, okay, then you're being strategic about it. And if we're a business, right, then that's when I feel good. If I've been in businesses that have done both. So I'm thinking about private business. I've been in a private business that used debt and lines of credit to go on ahead and meet operational responsibilities. And anytime that business starts to do that, then you're on a slow path towards dysfunction. But if you're only using it to finance projects that improve your bottom line and that underwrite themselves, then I get comfortable with it. So you don't want to do that. So the go, no go has to be, you're going to have this much savings that yields this, and you're going to get a better project. And I think having that conversation is probably where I would start to think about it.
Okay, all right. Well, this is a lot of good info and it's unconventional. I guess I'm glad you're looking into that. Continue to look into it. And I guess we'll talk about this, quite a bit, but we'll pick it back up at a later time. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's fair.
Okay, what else?
And I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look back, and Nikki, I'm going to rely on you a little bit. If there's anything that I'm missing here, which I don't think there is, and Nikki is I'm not trying to just, throw that out there, but I was gonna ask if there was something that I was, if there's anything I'm missing that I'm not attending to. I do have a, issue with the Hiawatha Hospital. I've got a position paper that I'm looking at there. Okay, regarding some of, treatment, so I've got that in. And then I've also been looking at, I've been working a bit on how to structure some of the managed, in coordination with, Nemaha County, what a managed care network option might look at. And I thought after the holiday, I would pick that conversation back up. So those are my two big strategic things, because I think if we tackle those two from a budgetary standpoint, oh man, you guys are on a path towards long-term sustainability without seeing, yearly commodities increases. So I've been looking at those two. Nikki, are there any housekeeping things that I'm missing at the moment? I'm trying to see here. I don't have anything on my list, but I might have missed something.
There is some adjustments to the right of way permit. I don't know what that still happening or the, I don't know. Can we know more where that?
Did you catch that, Austin?
Adjustments to the right-of-way permitting
Yes.
process.
Yeah.
Oh, and Evergy came back to me with some changes. So I have Evergy changes. I just got those, not maybe a couple days ago, maybe 4 days ago, 4 business days. So I've got Evergy changes. So I've got Evergy changes, right-of-way permit process changes. I still have the Hiawatha School, no, Hiawatha Hospital paper. And then I also have the we've got our 2 larger projects, roads, insurance. I thought there was there was another thing that I just no, I think those are my big 5 things. Is there anything else that I'm missing here? So I've got the Evergy changes, right-of-way permit process changes, Hiawatha Hospital, roads, insurance, and then the bankruptcy
Was there
bankruptcy notice filing.
Did the quick claim situation get resolved?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I've done that.
Okay. You're on it.
All right, guys. I think this is for me.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Austin, we had some more.
Yes, sir.
Nick brought up, we had some language with our comprehensive planning committee involving like solar data centers, so on and so forth. We touched on that a few weeks ago. So that'd still be on your list. And do you have time for a 10-minute executive session? Or are you out of time?
Yes, I do. I'm not out of time. I can do it in 10 minutes. And also on the planning commission, when do they meet next?
I think it's the first Wednesday of every month.
I may at least try to Zoom, not be there. I don't know about this next Wednesday, this December Wednesday. I'd like to go over option.
On your December calendar. Okay, well.
Let me see about that. Okay.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
then
I have.
Go ahead.
I think that's my list.
Okay, all right. And everybody out there, if it seems a little awkward, that's because we're talking to Austin on the phone. We don't see him via Zoom. So there's a little lag time here in communication because everyone's so darn polite. We don't want to step on anybody else while they're speaking. So I would like though to go into executive session with the 3 commissioners and the county council. And basically it's an attorney-client privilege. Is that a reason I can use? Austin, I just want to discuss an issue with our legal counsel that's before the commission. Do I need to be more specific?
No, we're going to discuss issues. You're going to discuss issues that require the opinion of and advice of legal counsel. So that's
that's
the reason why we're going.
Okay, for 10 minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. We'll come back at 2:39 or 2:40.
100% agree, but I.
We're out of executive session. We're back into regular with no binding action taken. So Austin, you've had the microphone for a while. Is there anything else you'd like to talk to us about? Or we move on down?
No,
the
other than I would just say I heard back from Evergy. I was able to look at it quickly. They don't want to change our easement pathway forward. I'm not too worried about it for this size of an easement. They gave me a lengthy explanation and we got them to go look at it for 3 weeks. I don't know that we should continue to push on this because I think the easement area is so little that I think I would probably just let it go for now. But if we ever have a bigger easement, I think I would put up more of an issue because it's like 150 square feet of an easement area. So I don't think there's a lot there we need to worry about right now. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right,
Um,
I will see you. I'll be virtual next week, but I'll be back in person in the first week of December.
So next week, or we meet next week
Are we meeting next week?
on Wednesday?
On Wednesday.
Nemaha County canceled. On Wednesday? Okay. I will actually be, I've got some holiday travel going on that day, so I'm not sure, but I'll try to attend, by Zoom if I can. If not, then if I don't get to talk to you next, I may be able to, but I'm traveling. There's a chance that I may not be able to get onto the Zoom. So let me
Okay.
know. And we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Austin.
Thank you all. Talk to you all.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, next week is Thanksgiving already, right? Am I wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, sounds fine. Okay, next thing on our agenda, Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal form. This is page, like it starts page 48, I think. Wonderful letter here. Okay, I guess I would make a motion that we approve this Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal form.
I have one question.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry before that.
Go ahead.
So they have 61 as number of employees, but I know when we were talking before, we were saying 59.
I got four double.
Okay, so you've looked at this and that's the right number. Okay,
So it says eligible for coverage. That,
Yeah.
does that mean the same, that's how many have it, or is that?
No, I'm here eligible. If you get a couple people up.
So we have a few that don't take it, but that's the pool of potentials.
okay.
Any more questions? I'm sorry to jump ahead.
No, sir, I think that was it.
Bill, do you have something?
Every year, like your transgender services and your abortions and stuff like that. That increases the cost of health care when we have to pay for that, and that's a government issue, not a, it's a federal issue, not a requirement. So people need to understand that we're not supporting these things, but that's adds to the cost.
So we have no under elective abortions.
Right, but on your transgender stuff, they're not.
Okay, and we are subject to federal requirements
So
there. So
it's not something that we can get rid of, but
fair enough.
it's just a,
So just because the box checked yes or no doesn't mean we check yes or no. Some of these are out of our authority.
yeah, right.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So Nikki, from year to year, does this form change? Do any boxes that were yes go to no? Okay, and so when Watco shops for insurance, I assume this is the form they're filling out to send to the company to get the bids or part of it? And the reason I'm asking is maybe we need to, next year when we go through this, is there any way we can see? Well, I guess if it doesn't change, this ASO checklist, then we've got it right here. Well, maybe we decide we want to make some possible changes. Now we know we have it in our information back, so. can we pull that out and could you put that someplace in a different folder so we can access it in the future? Maybe under work session topics or something. Thank you. Okay, well, I would, if there's no more discussion on this, I would go again, I would make a motion to sign this ASO checklist renewal form with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. That's done. All right, number 5. These are work sessions. Looks like if we like this format of the Thursday work session from 1 to until 2 o'clock, you know, we can just go ahead and make a motion and schedule that. And we can still be flexible if we don't think we have any.
Yeah,
we
that can
just don't
that
do
can be
it.
changed in.
But that way it saves some procedural headache with the clerk's office that's just always kind of in the hopper. Now, if we, Nikki, if we cancel it, say 2 weeks in a row, does that get us in trouble? Okay, it's like an optional thing. Okay.
And then obviously next Thursday, we would not.
No,
And this Thursday either.
and this Thursday either, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, well, I said I couldn't.
Okay.
Do it in the afternoon. On Thursday.
Okay, so we can't do it this coming Thursday. We won't do it on Thanksgiving.
You're allowed to be busy, Bill.
Okay, it's all right. It's all right.
So can we, in a work session, without a coma problem, can we have just 2?
Because we have a meeting this weekend sometime. That's-
I mean, I'd still, if it would work for you this Thursday, I'd still maybe do.
Well, that's up to you. I'll defer to you. Will you feel left out?
Are you
Well,
sure?
Yeah, really, it's up to you. I don't want
Yeah,
you to
if you
feel
feel
like.
like you want to be there, then we don't have to do it.
I would prefer to be there.
Okay, then we'll hold off.
We'll hold off and meet, I guess it'd be the first Thursday in December. Is that right?
Or can you do it on Wednesday or Friday?
Well,
Change like that. I don't know, it's, had a doctor's appointment for a long time.
that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. That's,
I don't think we'll be back for a long time.
All right, fair enough.
What do you want to just don't do it like at the regular thing, just move for. Whether you might do this week.
Do you feel like there'd be value in having a work session on Wednesday of this week? Is Wednesday even open for you?
it is. It is.
No, I got some state law.
Okay,
I can see online.
and that answers that.
Does Friday work? Does Friday
Does
work?
Friday work for you?
No.
And understanding that if it doesn't go an hour, it doesn't go an hour, that's fine, but there are a few things that I think
Okay.
would be.
Well, I'll make a
helpful.
motion that we have a work session this Friday. From 1 to 2 in the afternoon. Does that work? Or I'll resend and we'll think about it. some- Still works?
Patrick needs to going to. Zoom in during work session because he's not available. During Monday, city, so like. So. I can be what we do. Friday.
Okay,
Well, yeah. I came to the planning commission and he was talking to the planning commission. I kind of heard what he said about that. What his idea.
so you'll try to get him in on Friday at the work session? Take a chance?
Yeah, if
But-
it works, it works.
Yeah.
And if it has to be moved, we can move it.
Okay, so the motion on the table, I guess, is for a work session this Friday from 1 to 2 in the afternoon. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. We'll do that Friday. From 1 to 2. And Bill, I appreciate your honesty there because we did put you on the spot. I don't want anybody on this side of, well, in this whole room feeling like we're trying to roll over you. So I'm glad you want to be there and we'll make it work. Okay, now we've got this quarterly evening, and I guess we can talk about that in work session unless you guys, those are all good choices. Anything stand out? Evening edition. And it still would be to tie this in with our end of the month meeting once a quarter, the end of the quarter. So we would have the function of getting the business meeting to end the month taken care of. And then we would tie on this as a way to engage
Yeah,
with people.
I think it's a good idea. Are any of those names, did something jump out to you guys?
I've never been good with stuff like that, so.
I like the county conversations after hours.
Okay.
But I'm not, they're all fine with me.
Okay, I kind
Our conversations with the commissioners, it's still, what do you see, Bill?
the evening forum,
What if it's not evening?
throw it out there.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, if it's
So
not,
that's
Nikki,
good.
do you have an
That's a
opinion
good
on
point.
this? I think, conversations with the commissioners sums it up. Isn't that what it's all about?
fair enough. I like
Right?
it.
I mean, there's no hidden agenda there. It's just,
Okay,
this is just about,
we'll call it that. So do we need to make some sort of motion to set that in play for next year? Or will we just handle that on a meeting by quarter basis? Okay,
So what do you call it?
conversations with the
the
commission.
first one.
Yeah, yep, all that hard work and we took number one. All right,
Did you come up with these, Nikki? Okay,
that's very good.
it works.
Okay, so is there any other business to come in front of the commission here before we do our last little meeting synopsis?
This works well because that's what I was going to bring up was, I visited the landfill and it is regarding this.
Good to pay.
So I guess I can talk about it, right? I mean, okay, so if you remember, we have a contractor that's doing some work for us out at the landfill. And I just brought up the question is, how do we inspect our work, right? So Don Pounds is out there and he is looking at how things are done and he had some concerns. Obviously, I said that I would volunteer to go out there and take a look at it, and I did. In a normal construction project, typically you would have a contract value, and then you would have in the contract that there would be a 10% retention withheld. Meaning every progress payment, if it's $100,000 job, every progress payment you make to them, you're withholding 10% of that progress payment. When you get towards the end of the job, simple math, you have 10% left of the contract. And that's basically our way of, our leverage of making sure things get done. They don't do 90, so much percent of the work, then get 90% of the money and leave, right? So I visited it. I have concerns on some things. I've taken some pictures. And I would like to meet with BB Brothers if we can figure out a way to do that. And just drop a punch list. That's a simple term that's used on almost every project. And just let them know that there are some things that need to be done. Now, having said that, the way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, they've done all this work and we've never given them a progress payment, right? Okay, so in all fairness to the contract, we should release 90% of the funds, right? Because normally they would be billing us and normally they would be at this point in the job, they would have had 80 to 90% of their money. So contract value is 190. Okay, so we're gonna end up with releasing at 90, we're still gonna have $19,000.
They're asking for 150.
Okay, so I think in all fairness to the contractor, we should release that amount of money and get them some money so they can pay. But before they get the last 10% of the job, I'd like to do an internal punch list. Based off of codes, just general codes, and say, we need this, this, and this addressed. And I'll probably end up meeting, if it's okay with you guys, or I don't know how we would do that, but just meet with the
On site?
on site and just point out the things that are not to code. And have them addressed before we pay these guys 100%. Does Does that make sense?
You don't want them.
Well, they don't need to come in. The meeting would be on site. And it's simply doing a punch list and correcting some things that if there was inspection, they would have to correct.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay, but I'm for giving them their request. And that's fair.
All right, so you had some paperwork for that?
I don't think it needs to be approved because we approved the entire production. But he was.
Just going out of, oh, okay.
And can I ask another question? Was there any kind of a bond on that job? Was it performance or payment? So they did a performance and payment bond. Okay. So there will be a letter from us at the end releasing them, and their bonding company will be notified because they're carrying a bond on it, so we're gonna have to do that. Yeah. Well, it's basically just so we have lien rights. Number one, okay? So there is a bond, there is an insurance policy that says if they did not perform, we have a bonding company that we can go to and say, the work wasn't done pursuant to the plans and specs. And the bonding company would be on the hook.
Okay, so.
And that's good. I'm glad you guys did that.
So that was a bumpy time in the
Right.
commission. So that project went over and above a certain dollar figure, which made it a requirement of that project for them to get the bond. That wasn't in the bid.
Okay,
And so it cost them an additional amount of money. And we went through all that stuff.
but they're contractors, right? So
Yes.
they came to you saying that they didn't realize that they would have to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So, I mean,
Right, the original winner actually, and I may not use the right language, but subbed out to a different company and then, because they were able to take on this. problem.
Okay.
And then that's,
And so do you understand on the performance bond? That makes sure that the county actually, a contractor actually performs and finishes the work that we set out. And the payment bond, do you understand how that works?
enlighten me.
Okay, so that's where basically their employees or anybody that's performed work on that project has the right to do a prelim, and it doesn't sound like anybody did prelims, but they have the right to notify us, hey, I'm going to be owed money, I'm doing work on this project. And that's their way of making sure before we release the final payment. So in other words, contractor A could do the job and not pay their employees. And we could pay contractor A, and then their employees could come after the fact and go, I never got paid, right? Well, that whole process is the legal way for them to notify us that they will have exposure there. It doesn't sound like anybody did. But that's a way to make sure that we're paying money to somebody and they're paying people that are owed money.
We don't say for it twice.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, we don't get sued and somebody says, hey, you paid him and I never got paid, then we would say, well, you didn't notify us with a prelim, so we had no idea. So we're doing it right. It sounds like the process on that end is a little not
Okay.
done the normal.
Okay, so if I could sum that up, then we owe them, we're gonna pay them $150,000. We paid zero so far.
Mhm.
That's all sounds very reasonable.
Sure,
We still have we need to have a meeting.
a
to
process,
Punch list.
punch list, yes.
All right, and you can take, I mean, you're willing to do that?
Yeah,
Okay,
and Don's been their contact on the job. I would just point out things that are blaring to me and need to be addressed. No different if they were doing it at your home and you came and said, you didn't paint this.
okay,
Simple things like that.
okay, wonderful. So we did approve it, but I'm more than willing to make a motion to make it happen.
But one question, is that coming out of it's a Aukashweed capital improvement phase?
Next week,
You can just make sure that's clear. What's going
well, I would make a motion then to pay the installment of $150,000 to BB Brothers for a portion of the work completed at the landfill.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, motion carried. Then that's done. It's nice to have that background. That was a time where it was a little, I didn't
Sure.
quite understand. It was
Sure.
a simple as.
Yeah.
And we took some heat for it.
Well, it's. You're getting into dollar amounts that require it.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain Kevin was still here and I think didn't he, somehow you guys figured that out and then anyway, water under the bridge, but we're moving forward. So, okay. Anything else? Okay. Would you send, is it a checklist that you'd be?
And that's part of there is a much needed those in that conflict that we loaded their lane and around that road. In the public hearing.
Okay, okay,
So,
okay, well, yeah, the Longspur Road in Horton, that was
Right,
no
right.
big deal because that was the same family on both sides and the road ended in the same family. So no big deal. This one with multiple property owners might be a little different. But I would love to see. Go ahead.
we have that list.
Could you resend the checklist? Is that to us, just so we can look at it?
Well, like I said in the meeting earlier, we just want to make sure that the next time it happens, we're following something that
Right.
makes sense to all of us. That way it doesn't become a problem in the future.
Okay, all right, is there anything else?
Yes, he sent it to me. And so I'm gonna, yes. I will forward it to you. How's that?
All right. Okay, that makes sense. Good. So you have it. We'll see it on Monday,
Like I said,
Wednesday of next week. Right on.
Oh,
wait, I'm sorry.
next week, we're talking about.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we won't. The calendar is a moving target this time of year.
that's what I'm going.
Okay, so is this document, I mean, is it complicated? I mean, can we see it and take action on it now? What if it snowed between now and next
Oh.
Wednesday?
It was just simply a short form contract that he's used elsewhere, and it basically all we have to do is put the dollar per hour that we're willing to pay on it.
Does waiting till next week, does it needlessly slow this process down? Is it something we could take care of today? Just as an addendum to our agenda here? So the reason I'm asking is if we could get this thing, signed, sealed and delivered, then maybe our road guys would want to start the training process.
So the answer is I have it, but I don't have it with me. Does that make sense?
I get it.
Okay, and so if I can get it to Nikki, then she can get it back to us.
Okay. Okay. It doesn't make sense, but that's all I.
Is there a way we can get started? I guess we have to approve it before we.
We need to look at it and to determine our per hour staff and that's all right. It's fine.
And can we look at it during the work session?
We can look at it. We just won't make any decision.
Right.
Okay, that's fine.
Because really all that's gonna get put in there is the dollar amount that we agree to collectively.
Okay,
Okay, and that's a good topic during the work session to talk about that.
okay. Okay.
So, yeah,
That's right.
so they get used to the trucks before.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so then last on the list then is we're gonna try something new at the end of this meeting to think of a few, what did we do today? To I guess get out in the public, so they know what we did today. And if you had to summarize this meeting in 3, 4, or 5 things that we accomplished, what would they be?
Well, if I can start, I would say that one of the important topics that we're going to continue to work on, and he brought up, is we are looking for alternative methods for our roads to save us money in the future. And I think that we're off to a good start on that.
That was a big picture type look. Yeah, that was. Right. Is that, I just looking for alternative methods for roads, for road maintenance and repair, road. Maintenance. and Repair, all right, Bill, what? You took the one you were thinking of, didn't you?
We finalized the Blue Cross thing.
Okay,
That's correct, yeah.
Just one step, hoping more.
okay,
Stuff on.
okay, so,
We took us, didn't finalize the 10 week.
all right. So do you wanna,
We also discussed the process to close out the new building at the dump. And basically a way that we protect the county before we pay 100% of the cost.
okay? Okay, so I'm writing these down just so I remember, but Nikki's also writing them down, and so when we're done here, she'll read them back to us.
Did we say anything about the interview or not?
The interview,
Then there's the people that could apply.
okay, okay, all right.
I guess if you want to say it, it would be as simple as interviewed potential new hire. That's simple as it could be, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Gotcha. I'll do that for my own benefit here. Yeah, that was sort of in-house policy launch that, I guess we could say something, we agreed to the quarterly evening or quarterly evening meeting format for next year.
Sure. And even come up with a
Yeah, with
title for
with conversations with the commissioners to spur some more public interaction. And that's 4, we don't have to do 5.
Nope, I think if you're just listing a few each time, it's,
Okay.
again, you remembered when I asked you that question and you're already doing it, so.
Well, I stole your question. It
No,
was so
you did
good.
not, you're using something. It makes sense.
Evening meeting format. Okay, and Nikki, when you're ready, would you read those back to us? And I think you have artistic license to make some changes with.
That's best to go out and help you out the thing. But you get money for fire. And you control new hire services for the elderly.
Okay, perfect. Yep, sounds great. And you'll put that on what page? Okay, okay. So if my wife goes to the Brown County government page on Facebook and links to it, then we can share it and go. Okay, that'll be good. All right. Now, is there anything to come before the commission before we close out the day? Bill, do you have anything?
I have one question.
Okay,
Would it be possible, Dallas? Could we get a clock in here?
can't see it.
Can't see it. Okay, never mind.
Oh,
I guess you can probably see it from your angle, right?
You look in the lower right-hand corner of that TV, you can see
Okay.
it.
I guess we do have it. I was just thinking if we had something that all of us are looking at when we're going in and out of these meetings, but if I lean over, I can see that one there then.
oh,
So,
is there a nail, like, that's a better
but
story.
we're not all paying attention to that. That
Right.
was my whole thing.
I watch it a lot.
And it's mostly for when we have those 10 minutes or 15 minutes, so you can kind of see.
Here first.
Might be on the computer.
Well, I mean, now you pointed out, even if we can move that clock over there where the commissioners can keep an eye on it and we're all looking at the same thing. Does that make sense?
Sure, it's fine.
Okay,
Simple.
maybe I can talk to one of the custodians about doing that.
They might have a clock. You have two.
Okay,
That's a decorator piece. It's always 2 or 3 minutes behind.
there you go.
It's all right today. It's about right today.
And then the last thing is maybe it's a work session topic. You guys can tell me what forum is proper for it. But a discussion of adding camera out at the landfill for them. Is that something we want to talk about during the workshop session? Go ahead and close out this meeting.
Looking into the trailer. That camera.
They have no way when you're out there, the scale person has no way of seeing who's coming in. And what happens, because now we've turned, they used to look to the south, now they look to the west. So they get people out there that pull up and they don't even know they're there. And sometimes people are leaving and they're running out after them. And to me, if it was laid out properly, they would have a screen here that shows who's coming in and out of the driveway before it ever gets in.
Good.
And I think it's something that, I mean, we could run a Cat 5 and I could talk to Dallas about that in the future of doing. Again, I don't know what the proper forum is for adding something like that. If it's something we need to talk about in the workshop, we can do that.
I think Don would have the ability to do that himself. He wouldn't even need us.
Well, I'm sure he's gonna need, I would rely on our IT person to
Little advice.
advise us on. We don't need to be buying this type of monitor and this type of monitor and this type of screen. I think we should be using our IT guy to give us some advice on what he would recommend. Because it's gonna be a low voltage project. It's gonna be a camera system with some Cat 5 and a screen and a camera.
As for monitors, we have plenty that we can just take out there.
Okay,
That part,
so if we were to get some Cat 5 and some power ran out, then could you advise us on what type of camera you would recommend?
I have no experience with,
Okay.
security system,
Okay,
but I can try to do some research and. see if I can find out.
okay, well, why don't you do that, and I'll make a recommendation what I would put out there, and then maybe we can just run it in front of the commission. And make sure, because it's gonna, obviously, there will be a budget towards it, and we'll have to figure out when we can do it. I just don't think it works properly the way it is right now out there.
So the landfill, I mean, the reason I brought that, he should have budget to take care of it himself. We're glad to partner with him on Stealth says we got some equipment that they could have. That'd be wonderful.
Do we have a current policy that would allow him to do that if it's under a certain dollar amount? In other words, I'm the one that suggested it to him, and he was all for it. Normally, what would happen is they would come in and ask us, correct? Because,
Yeah, it was under 5,000.
okay,
So the landfill thing and I understand the landfill to operate under its own initiative and under its fee base. So that's the way it
Correct.
should be. So,
it kind of,
so if the landfill needs a camera system,
okay.
then that's part of operations. And now if it's over $5,000, your county still has,
Okay.
final approval authority. Like if he wanted to buy a bulldozer or something, yeah, we need to know about
Sure.
that. But if he wants to buy a security system with funds generated from the landfill,
Okay,
Go
well,
for
I will relay that to him. And again,
But
he
that's-
didn't bring it up. It's something that I brought up when I was out there saying.
but
this
what you
doesn't
brought,
work
when he
right.
brought Dallas into the mix here, that's wonderful, because if we've got some overlapping equipment. that-
Sure,
Yeah, let's make that happen.
okay. It sounds like that we have a process, and as long as we follow the process, everybody's happy with it.
Yep.
Very good.
Okay, and I'm gonna give you some information here, just a contact number. I'm so paralyzed by all this coma stuff. I had a phone number I wanted to give you, but I'm just gonna write it down. Hand it over. It's just a guy I'd like for him to talk to about the roads. Okay.
Can I just punch it in you want to write it down and I'll,
You see it?
perfect. This is the guy that you were talking about.
If I'm on a county road and my vehicle is stalled and I'm walking down the road and you two are the only people that drive by, you know, you can't give me a ride unless you put me in the back of the truck. That's the way this system works.
No, it's not that bad.
It could be. I know it's not the way it works. That was my attempt at humor, but but we are a little paralyzed by, or I feel that way.
Okay, so I have his number and I can contact him?
Yeah, I,
Perfect.
yeah, I spoke to and told him a guy with the California prefix would be calling.
He's not a telemark.
Yep. Did you have anything for us, Bill?
No.
Okay, well, I think we've closed out a pretty good meeting. I would, if there's nothing else to come before the commission other than things we need to sign, and I assume this surency
Yeah.
is part of what we did there, so that's fine. And I would make the motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I will second that
It's been
motion.
moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. We're adjourned. All right, good job. I say that stuff in jest.